someone comes and puts his hand on the bonnet. John, bye. I'm looking at him smiling, but I'm looking at the bonnet. Oh my God, what's happening there? You know.
I got into your car. Everyone was looking, and that disappointment. I rolled down the window and said, "Maybe star."
Made me feel uncomfortable sitting in too comfortable a car.
I'll never forget our first motorcycle. You may outgrow it, you may need to move on, but
Yeah.
you will never forget that bike.
And I just kept looking at the motorcycle and I said, how can anything be so beautiful? It's not possible.
Hello and welcome to our weekly podcast, Deep Drive, powered by Kotak Mahindra Prime. Now, this week, it's a very, very special podcast. We're not going to be talking about the industry, new models, or what's coming. We have with us a very special guest, John Abraham, who is a big car and bike buff. And also, we are honored to have him as one of our readers. John, welcome to the pod. And thanks, really, for coming here. We're just going to be talking about cars and bikes today.
I think we'll have a lot of fun, Hormazd, because I'm honestly, I'm very excited to be here. I just read the 300th issue and it was so much fun. And I'm just very happy being here, Hormazd. And if I may, can I tell the audiences how I met you?
Oh my God, that's sorry. Okay, let's make it public.
Yeah, so I just finished my film Dhoom. And I come onto the Bandra Worli ceiling, and there was no ceiling. There was just the starting bit.
Before the ceiling
was done. And I see this massive crowd there, and I'm on my motorcycle. And I see someone hosting a motorcycle race, a drag race happening there.
That's right. I think it was 2004.
2004.
I got 20 years.
20 years. And so I land up.
That's how long I've known you.
I know. And so I don't know who was hosting this thing. And the bikers crowded around me.
No, he's being very modest. John came and there was pandemonium. People broke through the barricades. They just stopped the event. And I was wondering what the hell is going on. We were about to start and there were crowds. They went completely berserk over there to meet this gentleman. So I was obviously getting a bit agitated because the crowds were just crazy.
Yeah, and this gentleman comes to me and he says, "Who are you? What are you doing here? Get out of here."
No, wasn't that rude? I don't think.
Yeah, get out of here. And I said, okay. And I left. And then, Hormazd, we met 1 year later in Malaysia.
On a flight,
Kuala Lumpur. And you told me, hey, why didn't you tell me who you are? I wouldn't have done this to you then. So that's the hallmark of Hormazd Sorabjee. But that is wonderful. I think from then we became really close friends.
Absolutely.
And I enjoy that interaction. The first one and the second one.
So, John, let's talk about, for bikes. I know Rishad is there. He's going to talk to you about that.
Yeah.
But, you like bikes, but obviously like cars as well,
Yeah.
So, I think as, going back to, let's say, even your roots, which is half Irani, half Pari, that's obviously in there. Have you always liked cars as a kid? I mean,
very interesting story. I always wanted to buy an SUV or a car that kept you higher than the others around.
Right. Yeah, you've been quite an SUV guy, Jack.
Always, mostly. And the thing is, I couldn't afford anything when I started off.
Yeah.
And then finally, I got a little money when I was a model. And I still remember this gentleman, Irani gentleman. His name was Farhang Farzadi. Santosh Sagar Snacks in South Bombay, opposite Priyadarshini Park.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So I went to him and I said, and he had a very used Tata Sierra.
Okay.
So I said, sir, I want this car. And he's saying, you take it, son, but remember one thing. This car is going to bring you a lot of good luck. And the day you decide to sell it, you have to come and sell it back to me. So I said, I promise you I'll do that. And I used the car and, I coincidentally, fortunately also started doing better in life. And then I'd reached a point where I decided to give the car up for my next one.
Right.
And I remembered what he told me. And I went back to the restaurant and I looked for him. And his son was sitting there. And I said, your dad asked me that if I have to give this car back, I have to come back to you and give it back to you. And he said, Dad's passed away, unfortunately. Wow. And it broke my heart. So I offered the son the car and I gave it back to him. And he said, how much do you want for it? And I said, listen, this car has given me everything in life. So give me whatever you want. And it wasn't about the money. And he said, listen, I have really nothing much to give you because this is not worth much.
Yeah.
And I said, it's fine. I just wanted to keep my word and I wanted to come back to the person that
Oh, that is a
gave me the, And I came and I gave him the car and he just gave me a little envelope. I didn't even look as to what is inside that envelope because it must have been practically nothing. Until today, I don't know what is there in it.
Unbelievable. That is an amazing story.
Yeah. And I walked away from there. So that's the most beautiful story. And that's how that was my
That
first
is an
car.
amazing story.
Yeah.
So that was your first car.
That was my first car.
Yeah, and then after that, I mean, obviously, but all generally SUVs. I want to just fast forward to when we helped you with that Gypsy. The steering was really horrible and tight, and I think we got you power steering on that.
Correct. You know, again, what the audiences don't know, Hormazd, every time I bought a car, I've reached out to you.
Thank you.
I picked up the phone and said, Hormazd, should I pick this up or should I pick that up? What should I do? And then you gave me your valuable advice. I took it very seriously. And I got a Gypsy. Very excited about it. Had a beautiful experience with it. And this is what I do with most of the vehicles that I have. When the time came to give her away, I love animals. So I gave it to an animal organization to be used as an ambulance. And that's the way I feel. That's my trajectory with my pickup trucks. Like I have a pickup truck right now with the Gypsy I had, with the Sierra when I promised. So I feel every car's got its own destiny.
Right.
And my journey with that car has got its own destiny.
Right. And now, obviously, very exciting. I know you're getting a ROX. I think that car has, obviously, you can see the evolution of SUVs also, the way it's happened. And
what was the story there? And I'm being very honest. I was very impressed by the way Mahindras were actually developing their cars, and the Thar looked fantastic, the 3-door. And I remember meeting Mr. Anand Mahindra at your award. And I was sitting next to him and I looked at him and I promise you, this is a conversation. I said, when's the 4-door coming out? He said, 5-door, John. So I said, okay, correction. When's the 5-door coming out? He said, soon. And I was waiting. There's some strange... I was just waiting for it. I was excited about it. I was very excited about it. And finally, when it came, I mean, again, I called up Anand before that and I said, listen, I'm so excited about this. And then he asked me to get in touch with Rajesh Jejurikar. And I got in touch with Rajesh Jejurikar and I was just very excited about the entire process, that what's Mahindra actually doing. This is so interesting, so exciting. And they got me in touch with the entire team and I landed up at the launch of the Thar ROX.
Yeah.
And I was genuinely excited. And one of the two most amazing people I met there outside of Rajesh Jejurikar and Vijay Nakra and Nal Galugunta, the two most exciting people I met was Velu.
Yeah.
Velu Sami and Pratap Bose.
Yeah. Both other guys were
created amazing. And they were so much in sync with each other because one's a designer, the other's the engineer. And this is the first time I'm experiencing two people, one starting a sentence, the other finishing it.
Right.
And I think the amalgamation just came together with the ROX. And I honestly, genuinely, they picked me up from the airport in it. I enjoy the drive. I'm not smart enough like you to pick out the nuances, but as a normal consumer, I'm 6 feet 1 inch tall, and I enjoyed sitting in it.
Yeah,
just too comfortable and it's fun.
And tell me, John, you've obviously a lot of Indian-made SUVs you've used a lot, but you've had some, the bigger ones also. You've had the Cayenne, you've had those, but the sense I got is you really never got to use them, and you wanted something really rough and tough, which really just literally bash around. So is that something which kind of you look at? Because clearly I remember, I think you had a Cayenne, if I'm not mistaken, you hardly used it. Yeah.
Hardly. And I generally, that is me and that's my image. I'm a guy who will take the road less traveled.
Right.
I don't want to feel 100% comfortable with anything around. Nor do I want to feel 100% too expensive.
Yeah.
Because if I get stuck in the trappings of, being a star, or being that actor with dark glasses who sits in these things, it's just me.
Right.
I'm not judging anybody else or myself. I'm saying it made me feel uncomfortable sitting in too comfortable a car. Right. And I always wanted to sit in a car that would be rough,
Right.
would have that DNA. Mud filled, like like your issue when your opening shot where the Thar rocks is flying,
Yeah.
mud on the, and you took it off. You were brave to do that. I would not do that, Baba. but I needed a car that is as rough as that.
Yeah.
So even if I go to a red carpet event,
Yeah.
and this is what I say, everybody sits in those expensive cars, and some of our kind, we endorse other brands.
Yeah.
Why can't I sit in that car? Why can't that be my primary car?
Right. Yeah.
And I wanted that to be my primary car. So if I go anywhere, it should be in that.
And is it also with these expensive cars, you freak out when people touch it? I remember when we took delivery of your Gallardo.
Yeah.
I think there was a crazy crowd outside. I have to say this story.
Yeah.
John was taking delivery of Gallardo. I'd gone with him. And he went mad. There was a crazy car outside. I think I drove your car.
So you know what happened?
Because if he was driving the car, everyone
Yeah.
heard it. And then it was so funny. I got into your car. Everyone was looking. And that disappointment. I rolled down the window and said, maybe star.
Now, I remember we reached
And
it.
then you went on some back road and we went to the end of Worli. Then you got into the car.
Absolutely. My Baba side justified. And I reached it. I said, Hormazd, I can't sit in this. They'll touch it. Hormazd, you drive it. And I left that showroom in Prabhadevi.
Yeah, because they would have mobbed the car.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously, what happens when people touch the car? I think you go a little...
Yeah, but initially, because there's so much of social media.
Yeah.
So initially, when they used to touch the car, and I used to be like,
Yeah.
I used to get,
Now you have to control yourself.
you have
You
to
never know,
control.
be blown out of proportion.
So what I still do, which people don't know, I go a little ahead, and I've got my microfiber,
The cloths.
I quietly get out and I clean the windows again. I run back and I sit in the car.
My God.
Because I cannot take fingerprints on the
Glass.
Oh, I cannot. Anywhere on the car. I just can't take. Or someone comes and puts his hand on the bonnet. John, bye. I'm looking at him smiling, but I'm looking at the bonnet. Oh my God, what's happening there? So that you get what I'm saying, no?
Absolutely.
It's quite scary. And it happened with my motorcycle once, Hormazd. I shoot with everyone. But this one girl came, sweet little thing. And I mean, at that time I was very irrational, so I didn't think about it. And she said, can I shoot a picture with you? I said, sure. And I was with my motorcycle. And without my permission, she put her foot and sat on it. And I was like, no picture. Get off. And she's like, what happened? And I was like, no, get off. And she got off. So first thing I checked were the heels that touched my exhaust. What all has she hit on the way, the cowl area. Because I started getting hyper.
Yeah.
And she didn't understand what the fuss was about, and she thought it was really rude.
Yeah.
But you can ask Rishad this. If you're a biker,
Yeah.
boss, that's an extension of you. You can't allow anybody to be walking all over you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's as simple as that.
John, let's go to movies and some of the stunts over there.
Yeah.
I mean, I see all your movies. Frankly, I'm not too much of a movie watcher, but I don't miss your movies.
Thank you for tolerating me and my film.
No, Pathan, I mean, absolute blockbuster. But I just want to know some of those crazy car scenes. Is it stunts now? Is it green screen? Can you just tell us a bit of how it works? And the whole stunt business, I mean, how much do you do? How much do the stunt guys do? I mean, what's the kind of, ecosystem there?
So, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to say this, but I really want to give credit to all the stuntmen out there, the stunt car drivers. They are brave and phenomenal. And
can they get hurt?
They get hurt. Some of them get hurt. I don't know whether you remember, I'm just taking you back to Dhoom. My introduction shot was taking off my helmet and throwing it at the back, and a gypsy goes over my helmet and topples. That was the introduction shot in Dhoom. And when that gypsy toppled, that driver of that gypsy is still a friend of mine. His name is Habib. He's still a friend of mine. He got hurt. Even though he wore a helmet and he sat in the gypsy with a roll cage, he got hurt.
But how do they flip the car? Yeah?
In 2003, there were no green screens, you see?
Yeah.
So they had a ramp. Whoa. And he just hit the ramp and he took off. And the safety in those days, there wasn't the kind of safety you have today. And, everybody is careful today. Coming to Pathan, there's a scene where Shah Rukh and me fight on the truck. Well, everything was done in Yashraj. Most of it was done in Yashraj. So you had the studios. So they put the roof of the truck out and, we were fighting on it. And again, to give credit to Shah Rukh, man, I mean, I thought I'd be fighting there with a double. He came in and he did all the shots there himself. So we rehearsed for those action sequences. He did it. But of course, the real shots in Dubai were done with stunt people, on the real trucks, etc. So there's a lot of green screen that is used today. I would want to sound brave, and I would want to say that, being hung out and hung from it. No, but, to give credit to Yashraj also, they're very careful about their actors, about their talent. No one should get hurt.
Yeah.
And I wish more studios were like them.
Right. But so that's interesting. So but do you think, honestly, in a way, with the stunt driving community could be, with green screen replacing, is that a threat to them in a way? Or?
So I think there's a lot that has to be done in real time too, and in the real space too. So I don't think that's a threat to them. I feel it's a boon to them because they are better taken care of.
Yeah.
And I think it'll help them. But you need them. You need them around.
And just coming to your movies, in every movie, I notice whether the car is with the period there, because we know the cars.
Yeah.
Is that a challenge? I think Madras Cafe was a little...
to get it right. Because... And we take that little bit of creative liberty.
Yeah.
This is 2 years later. Maybe people won't recognize it. And I remember the last film you sat with me and you picked out the model of the car and I was like, oh my God, did you really see that?
Yeah. So how does that work? I mean, how do you get the cars for that period or roughly in that period?
We've got suppliers who give us the cars. We also do our bit of research and really, to be fair to J Entertainment and my production house.
Yeah, because your videos are very real.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, your movies are very, very real.
Really get into it, and we make sure that even the number plates and the, if it's a BMO, for example, or a BLE, on the registration, we want to get everything right down to the T, so no one can point a finger at us. Like I'm doing a film, Hormazd, on motorcycle racing in the Isle of Man.
Right.
Okay. Now, and that we'll discuss with Rishad also, but for me, when someone like him or the purist community is watching it, they know the difference in the sound between a V4 and an inline.
Yeah.
They're smart. They know it. I don't want to cheat my audience even on that.
Fantastic. Yeah, that's something to look forward to. Yeah. And John, just last thing on cars. I mean, road trips, you've not had a chance, but what would be your dream road trip?
You promised me. You promised you'll take me to Iran.
Will you come?
Yeah, now we've got it on live on this. I will come. I told you. I said, listen,
back to your roots in a way.
Oh, back to my roots. And my grandfather came from a place called Yazd.
Right. So did my great grandfather.
Yeah. So we should go back there. So if you plan a trip there, Hormazd, I'm game.
Fantastic.
I'm game.
Yeah, it is an amazing country.
Yeah, and you said that it's so misrepresented and it's beautiful. I remember you giving me inputs into it, and then I borrow your language and I go and talk to people like, Iran is a very misrepresented country. You're like, wow, John, you're so knowledgeable. And I'm like, I just got all my knowledge borrowed from here and I'm just letting it out. Because you travel a lot. I get a lot of information from e-converse.
And tell me, in India, any road trips you would want to...
So the one I did right now, very interesting, was we went up to a place called Nyoma.
Right.
Which is, I think, 15,000 feet above sea level. I think it's the highest, I forget the word for it, highest, it's the highest post where tanks, etc. could be stationed in the world.
Right. Highest tank base, maybe.
Yeah, I forget, motorable. There's a word for it. Machinable. I'm sorry, I'm not, but I remember. So we went up there and the trip was, so we landed in Leh. And then we drove up 4 hours.
Wow.
It was a crazy drive. The roads were surprisingly very good.
Spectacular.
Spectacular view and overwhelming when you reach there. We were, I think, about, I was closest, so I was about 5 kilometers away from the Chinese border.
And there's you realize how much the armed forces do for us. I mean, we went just now on this Kargil Vijay reverse drive, which we had done. It was amazing.
Yeah.
You really... you're so moved by what the armed forces do. And honestly, we take that road for granted, the Srinagar-Leh road. But, in the Kargil war, that was under attack.
Correct.
Can you imagine the road gets cut off, whole of Ladakh? Also, the sacrifices they made just so that we can enjoy that freedom. It's amazing.
Respect to the BRO also. And you see the amazing sayings they put up everywhere.
Amazing, yeah.
It's amazing. So a lot of respect to the soldiers, to the BRO, to everyone involved. It was a humbling experience actually going there. You realize how comfortable you are in life, and
Right.
thank you.
And John, just lastly, in films, how much, I know it's different, but funny to put a percentage or thing on it. How much of the driving do you do yourself? It might be a simple shot or whatever, nothing dangerous.
So whether it's driving or riding, I insist on doing most of it myself, except when there's a really wide shot. And
Right.
Can't see me. But even if you can probably see me on a 50 lens, or if you can just about see me pass by, I still wouldn't want that to be. Of course, you've got face replacement today, but
What do you mean, on computer?
yeah, you can replace faces. So I mean, today you could be doing a film with John Abraham, and then John Abraham really doesn't need to be in that film.
My God, that's scary.
It's scary because you could use his likeness, and you could just make the entire film on it.
Right.
Through AI, you can replicate his voice.
Wow.
You get some amount of my structure. You can shoot the entire film.
Wow, that is scary, yeah.
It is scary. You don't need me, actually. I mean, there could be someone else sitting here and going.
Well, John, I think, before this podcast ends, I'm going to get Rishad here. He's been watching it.
Yeah,
and
Rishad.
he's going to talk to you on bikes. Rishad, come on.
Very excited.
I know you've been...
John,
Hi, Rishad.
before we start, I have to say, I love his t-shirt.
Yeah.
If you get a good look at that t-shirt.
Yeah, please.
Things I do in my spare time, all related to motorcycles.
Yeah.
I think we have a lot to talk about when it comes to motorcycles.
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely.
I love that story about your first car.
Yeah.
There has to be a nice story about your first bike as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is very interesting. And honestly, I mean, my relationship with motorcycles is like my relationship with a woman. My first motorcycle was an RD 350.
Wow.
And I got it from a Parsi gentleman again. His name is Aspi. And beautiful motorcycle. Rishad, I got it for 19,500 rupees. In the days gone by, I'm talking about 91, 92.
So not cheap for the time.
Not cheap for the time. Yeah, not cheap for the time. Stock pistons, no oversized, nothing. So you get
Clean
that.
bike.
Yeah, clean bike.
Yeah.
So you get that. And then after a couple of years, I had to give her off and I had to sell her. And I went to this one guy and I sold her and I got 21,000 for it. Okay, because I maintained her so well.
So you made some money.
Yeah, but it wasn't about the money, Rishad. When I got down, I started crying. I actually started crying. And I still remember this was in Santa Cruz on the road next to the aeroplane garden. I was walking alone and I was crying. And people were looking at me and wondering, why is this guy crying? I mean, what's happened? Because then people said it must have been he's broken up with his girlfriend.
Right.
It's actually
It's
what
the
happened.
first love.
Yeah.
I fully understand.
Yeah.
You never forget our first motorcycle. You may outgrow it, you may need to move on, but
Yeah.
you will never forget that bike.
And I died. I died that day. And I gave it to him. And I get goosebumps talking about it. But yeah, that was my first motorcycle.
I have to share my story with Dhoom. I was in boarding school in Ooty. It was 2004. We rarely ever got to go out into town.
Correct.
And once or twice a year, they'd let us out for a day trip.
Yeah.
And we went to Assembly Rooms Theatre, and I saw this poster for this cool bike-looking movie. I'm not a Bollywood guy much,
Yeah.
but that made me watch it.
Yeah.
Imprinted for life.
Yeah.
I think that really strengthened my love for motorcycles because I was a car guy and bike guy, but then that was really cool.
Yeah.
Dhoom was big for you as well, yeah?
Oh, yeah. Totally. And honestly, again, I say this all the time, but Aditya Chopra, he's a producer with vision and he actually cast the film perfectly. And I think he took the perfect guy for the villain.
Absolutely.
Because all I wanted to know was what bike I'm riding. And I was also given the option to choose my motorcycle at that point of time. So I chose the motorcycle I rode. And it became, a household name after that.
Yeah.
And everybody started speaking about the Busa, So I was very, very excited. And something, Rishad, the guys who are my gang members, a lot of people don't know this, but they are my friends.
Really?
They did the film for a free meal.
Wow.
And they became
I'm sure you brought so much authenticity to that movie, though.
Yeah, I was very excited. And most of the shots there, barring the shot of jumping through the train, the train going and we're jumping, was done by a boy called Shashi. Alan Amin was the director. Shashi did the jump.
Okay.
And Shashi got hurt after he landed on the other side. It was very dangerous because we had to time it. He had to just believe in his action director saying action. So he was blindsided. He didn't know when the gap was. He didn't know where the gap was. So he just jumped up the ramp, hoping that he finds the gap between two compartments. There was no green screen those days, 2003, and he did that shot. So if he's still there, Shashi, thank you so much for doing that. But the rest of the stunts of the bike, most of them, I think 95% of the riding, if not 99, was me.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I doubled for Shashi also. So they asked Shashi to come and he was tired. So I said, Shashi, main chalaunga. That was fun.
So you really love riding motorcycles. Now, when you talked about cars, you said you like your SUVs, but you clearly like super bikes, not ADV bikes.
Yeah.
How come super bikes? Bombay is not a easy city to enjoy a super bike.
So from my mom's side, one of my cousins was a shippy, and he had a CB 754. And that time I was really young, and I just happened to look at it. I was in school, and I just kept looking at the motorcycle, and I said, how can anything be so beautiful? It's not possible. This is so beautiful. And I kept staring at that motorcycle, and I remember there was an apparel brand that had a competition where you win a ZX6 at that point of time. In India, a long time ago. A long time ago, and it was on Linking Road. I remember standing outside that showroom and looking at that motorcycle for 3 nights in a row. Just looking at it. For 6 hours, 7 hours, just looking at it and staring at it and just smiling, looking at it. And people didn't understand. And even I didn't understand what was this love for motorcycles? But I fell in love. And those are the days I fell in love. And I said, listen, the day I make some money, I will buy my first super bike, which was a ZX11 D2. Yeah, it was a Ninja. Yeah, it was beautiful. I loved every moment on it. And then I got into the Busa, and then I got into many other motorcycles.
You've got a big collection of bikes. How do you enjoy them? How do you find time to ride them?
So I honestly don't find too much time to ride them.
I've seen you riding around in Bandra.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate it. It's like, awesome. He's out on his motorcycle. That's so nice to see.
Yeah, but now I'm down to just 2 motorcycles. I've given most of my motorcycles away because I usually upgrade. I've got the 457 that you reviewed.
It's a lovely bike.
I love that motorcycle. Okay. And because I love the sound and not because of my association, I'm being and this is not a plug-in. I just love the sound of the Aprilia. And I called them up and I had the option. Of many other brands.
Yeah, I'm sure.
With due respect and a lot of respect to all the other brands. But I said, listen, I love this motorcycle. So I decided to stay with the Aprilia RSV for 1100.
One of the best sounding bikes ever made.
Oh my God, beautiful. The 270 crank.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And it's so pretty that even if you're not riding it, it's at home, you're just enjoying looking at it.
And I've got the SC Project MotoGP exhaust.
Wow.
Oh, loud. Mental. It's not normal. And I've got the Rizomas. So I put the brake levers, I've done the work.
Done everything.
Yeah, I've done everything. And you must come and see her. Please, I'd love to shoot her because she's so beautiful.
Sometime we'll go for a ride together.
Yeah. I can't ride as well as you, but I'll follow you.
You're a great rider and nobody can ride quickly in this city.
Yeah. This city is a mess. Yeah. But I'd love to ride on the track.
We should do that.
And I'm doing a track day on the 29th of September where Lorenzo Savadori is coming down.
Oh, nice.
And I'm going to be riding with him on the track.
Is that something you do often? Do you ride?
I ride on the track. Rishad, you know this well. But I try and keep up my certification. So if between intermediate and advanced. So I ride in Brands Hatch. Dubai Motor City is the easiest for me to go and get my certification from there. I've ridden in BIC. Lovely track, especially the back straight.
Yeah.
Beautiful. But yeah, wherever I can go, sometimes some CSS, sometimes I'm here, sometimes I'm there. I'm like a beggar. I go and I'll wait in line and I'll just get something.
But you're always riding.
Always riding.
Super.
Always riding. But one confession, the first time I sat on a V4, I couldn't control her. I just couldn't.
It's overwhelming.
I got scared.
Yeah.
And then I went back on an inline. And then I said, listen, I can tame this, I can tame this. And then when I started gaining some more courage, I went back on the V4.
So, do you do road trips?
Sometimes. I used to do a lot of road trips. I've done 3,000 miles in Europe. I've gone through the Dolomiti range between Italy and Austria. I've ridden in the snow. I've ridden on ice. I've done the works, but off late, no. The last road trip I did was Lahore Spiti Valley from the Rohtang Pass up there to Kaza. But that was also some time ago.
You must be enjoying the anonymity of a helmet.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It must be a nice release from the supercars where you're so identified. And
Can I say something?
Go.
Something that I just, I have not said this to anyone, and I really want to talk about this. I'm obsessed with helmets, like how people buy clothes. I have helmets. So I am considering, and I will, probably the next time we speak, I'll be having my own range of helmets.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's something I really, really want to do. And it's going to take me some time. I'm still thinking about it. But
I think people would love to be in a helmet that's designed or associated with you.
And my intent is very simple. My intent is safety. Yeah. So for me, whether it's BIS or whether it's the FIM 2 norms now, I will go through every possible certification to have a safe helmet rather than just a plain good-looking helmet. So safety first. And I just want to do this because I think it's my calling and I want to make helmets happen.
That's really nice. And I think people will take it much more seriously when it comes from someone like you.
Yes, and I'll be very serious about it. So it's not, and I promise you, it's not about the money. It's not about how expensive or cheap or whatever the helmet's going to be. It's about getting it right, getting that helmet right. Maybe 3-4 variations, 3-4 sizes, best what sizes you wear. Talking about safety, talking about everything, just not a fancy helmet, but a safe helmet.
I know this is not an easy thing to do.
Yeah.
So fantastic. You heard it here first. And someday we can be in a John Abraham helmet.
Yeah. And I've been to different helmet factories in Spain, in Italy.
Wow. Yeah.
I want to go for the EICMA now. 5th to 7th of November.
Have you ever been?
No. This is my first one.
You will love it as a motorcyclist.
I will see you there.
Hopefully. I should be there.
Okay.
Yeah. It's an amazing show. We'll catch up over there. I'll show you around.
Yeah.
You need 2 days. There's so much to see over there.
I think they'll have to throw me out of there. So I'm going for that. I just want to see what's happening and in the world of everything.
So motorcycles and movies are a real big connect for you. This Isle of Man thing you're working on sounds absolutely
Yeah. So I've been, in fact, Rishad, it's so interesting. I wanted to start this film pre-COVID. COVID happened and nothing happened. I didn't have a motorcycling manufacturer on board. Now, thanks to Aprilia's coming on as a manufacturer, and they're helping me realize my dream of making the Isle of Man TT happen. And when I spoke to the government there and I told them that Aprilia's on board, they're like, wow, we're excited. So, the entire Aprilia team here is going to be helping me set up my motorcycles.
Okay.
We're going to get all the help from Italy as much as we can. And we want to start shooting this film in August next year, just before the classic TT.
Right.
But after the senior TT. So we just have to time it in that window depending on the furniture also has to, the barricades, the furniture has to be alive at that point of time. Plus I need my sponsors on board. And Autocar is going to be one of my sponsors.
100%. We will be there to support.
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you have in mind for this? What kind of a story is it going to be?
I'll tell you what. At the end of the day, you have to have an emotional human story. So I'm trying to get a beautiful story. Then honestly, Rishad, whether it's motorcycling or arm wrestling or cricket or hockey or basketball, it'll work. The story has to be a human story. So I think we need to get that right. But technically, I don't want to go wrong with motorcycles. So like I was just telling Hormazd before this, whether it's a V4 or an inline,
And manufacturers make that mistake.
They make the mistake.
They put the wrong sound on the wrong sort of bike. We catch it and
it's embarrassing. And I don't want to do that. I mean, if that's the last thing I do, at least get that right.
No, 100%. I mean, if you're associated, then the authenticity is in place.
Absolutely. I wouldn't get anything wrong. Even the sound of the exhaust. If it's an Acra or an SC, get that also right. Sala udhar bhi wrong nahi hona chahiye.
Have you ever been to the Isle of Man?
Yeah, 5 times.
Something I've been dreaming to see.
Oh,
it's quite wild, isn't it?
The last time I went, 5 riders lost their lives.
That was a tough year. That was 2 years ago.
2 years ago. And I went this year also. But this year, I didn't see the races because I went for work. So I went just before the races. I had to rush back. And now I'm going back there again. I missed the classic TT, but I'm going back there again for work now in the next 10-15 days.
Amazing.
They're fed up of me, the Isle of Man.
Commitment to motorcycles is next step. I don't think people, they know you're the bike lover, but I don't think they realize just how much you like motorcycles.
Yeah, I love motorcycles and I respect motorcyclists. And, I'm a big fan of whatever you guys do and the knowledge you all give us as consumers, about the motorcycle. I read everything you say, and I watch everything you record, because that's very important for
Really
me
kind of you.
in terms of picking up what's good, bad, everything. And I love that journey. And I think motorcyclists need to have a better place in society generally.
Right.
But we also don't need to have irresponsible idiots roaming
It's a
around.
fine line of
It's a fine line. So, as long as we get that right.
But with people like you leading the way, I'm sure you could encourage the line to go in the right direction.
I hope we all come together as a community, because here I'm not sitting here saying I know everything. I know nothing. But the idea is that we all love the same thing. If we love the same thing and if we can push that cause, it'll be great.
I will clearly disagree with you. You know a lot.
Not
Hearing you talk about Rizoma and SC project and all, I'm trying to keep a track of your detailed knowledge.
But come and see it, because you'll be so happy.
And do that.
And Rishad, the Hormazd, and I forgot to mention something. We have a sculptor called Arzan Kambata, who's a personal friend also. I did a film called Little Zizu.
Okay.
With Sunita Raporwala.
Yeah.
And I actually had scenes, and that's where I became Arzan's friend. I shot in his studio, and he's a metal sculptor. And even if you go to Mr. Bachchan's home, he's Mr. Bachchan's favorite. You'll see Arzan's sculptures all over. So he took all my car parts and my motorcycle parts, and he's created something beautiful.
I think we need to show that to everyone.
We need to, because Autocars covered all the initial bits.
We need to show that final project
everything
to everyone.
And the final project's going to happen really soon, and it's going to be placed in the garage. So I'm just so excited about that.
It's a stunning looking piece. I've seen it.
You see it?
We'll show.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wow.
All right, John, thank you so much.
Thank you, Rishad.
Lovely talking motorcycles with you.
Thank you.
And
we should keep doing monthly or...
We should go for a ride.
Yeah.
That's what we must do.
We should keep talking about the new things that come
100%.
out.
Looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, John. Thank you.